Last Saturday afternoon, the neighborhood was unusually calm, the kind of quiet that only made the sound of children's laughter carry further across the cul-de-sac, where my 12-year-old daughter, Emily, was riding her bike along the freshly paved streets, her hair flying in the breeze and her carefree joy echoing through the air. I was inside setting up the grill when suddenly shouts erupted outside, followed by the unmistakable sound of panic in her voice, and when I rushed to the front door, my heart nearly stopped as I saw one of the HOA's so-called security officers standing in the middle of the street with his hand on a firearm, pointing it directly at my little girl, as if she were some sort of criminal. He was yelling at her to stop trespassing on her own block, claiming she was riding too close to the community entrance, his face twisted with aggression. But what he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Emily's mother, my wife, had just pulled into the driveway after a week-long assignment and was still in her FBI tactical gear, complete with the badge and holstered weapon that marked her as a federal law enforcement officer. The moment she stepped out of the SUV, the so-called security guard froze, his false bravado draining away as he realized the person he had threatened was the daughter of an FBI tactical commander, a woman trained to handle real armed threats, not petty neighborhood patrols with inflated egos. My wife's voice cut through the air, like steel as she ordered him to put the weapon down, her tone commanding and measured, the kind of voice that could stop armed suspects in their tracks. And with every neighbor watching from their porches, the guard's hands shook as he reluctantly lowered the gun, clearly realizing the depth of the trouble he had just walked into. Emily ran to her mother's side, tears still on her cheeks, and my wife immediately put a protective arm around her while calmly but firmly informing the guard that brandishing a firearm against a child on private property wasn't just a violation of HOA policy, but a criminal offense that could cost him everything. Within minutes, local law enforcement arrived, summoned by concerned neighbors who had called 911 the second they saw the weapon drawn, and after hearing the full account, they escorted the trembling security officer away, while the HOA board president showed up, attempting damage control, only to be shut down when my wife handed over her card and explained that federal charges could follow if the HOA didn't drastically reform their so-called security program. That day ended with the guard in custody, the neighbors rallying in support of us, and the HOA learning that intimidation and reckless behavior wouldn't be tolerated, not when they tried to target the wrong family.